I was actually wondering what was going on with all of the TurtleWoW successors.
I want to talk about what has happened in the private server scene, especially after TurtleWoW got shut down by Blizzard.
Oof.
And more specifically, I want to talk about the servers that have popped up in its place. Because yeah, TurtleWoW's gone, Blizzard swung the hammer, and it's done. But here's the thing.
Yeah, I was gonna check out OctoWoW, but I don't trust their launcher. Bro, I literally watched a video before like downloading it, just to be safe. And the video said that there's a Trojan horse inside, and I'm like, nah, that's not worth it.
It didn't die, not really. And in this video, I'm gonna walk you through exactly why and what your options are if you still wanna play. So first, let's quickly touch on why any of this is even possible. How do you just copy a private server? Well, the short answer is that at some point during TurtleWoW's development cycle, the core, specifically the 1.17.1 version, it got leaked. It got out there, it spread across the internet.
Wow, how coincidental.
Once something like that is out, it's out. You can't put it back in the bottle. And that's exactly why we now have not one.
Whoops, sorry guys. The entire game was leaked before Blizzard could take us down. Damn. Such a damn shame.
Not two, but three successor servers.
Calculated
to talk
oopsie.
about today. We've got OctoWoW, Capybara Paradise or Capybara WoW, and we've got Sand Worlds. So let's get into each one. OctoWoW is probably the one most
nice
of you
AI
in the
image.
TurtleWoW community are going to end up on, and there's pretty good reasons for why that is. But let's start with where they are at right now. Currently, OctoWoW is running on the 1.17.1 client of TurtleWoW. For reference, the version we were on when Blizzard pulled the plug was 1.18.1. So OctoWoW is behind, and they know they are behind. And they've said it's going to take roughly a year to catch up and squash all the bugs along the way. So if you're expecting to jump in and have the full TurtleWoW experience right now, that's not what this is.
Man, just looking at all of these videos makes me feel so bad because Blizzard took down the best server we ever had. It's so crazy that Blizzard, a multi-million-dollar company, couldn't replicate this. It's so pathetic.
At least not for now. Sign-ups are also limited. They open up now and then, let a batch of players in, and then close them again. That's intentional. They are not ready to a full flood of players yet, and honestly, that's fair. But the part that makes OctoWoW genuinely interesting and the whole setup behind it, the name
Shirley is going to run out of WoW content to react? Yeah, true. You know what? That actually would have been correct if Blizzard weren't so keen on doing every misconduct possible. If Blizzard were actually a talented, competent company that engaged in no malpractice and no bad behavior whatsoever, that would have been true. But unfortunately, it's Blizzard we're talking about here.
OctoWoW.
I got a lot of content.
There are 8 keepers behind this project. 8
They're
people
feeding
who
me.
don't know each other's identities, and each one holds a backup of the server core. So even if Blizzard somehow tracks them down, or one of them down, there are 7 more. You can't kill it. It's like a Hydra. You cut off one head and 7 more are waiting. And from what I understand, these developers take their anonymity extremely seriously. There's no official Discord run by the devs. The Discord that exists is fan run. The developers communicate through encrypted messages on that Discord so they can stay anonymous while still getting information out to the community. So it's a genuinely clever setup. And I think if TurtleWoW had done that, they wouldn't have been in the trouble they ended up being in. But there are some controversies.
Nah, Blizzard would have found a way. They always do. Unfortunately, that's how they operate, because they're willing to send a marine up the moon to find you, but they're unwilling to ban an obvious bot. That's how Blizzard operate.
About OctoWoW 2.
They only follow the money. They don't care.
There have been reports that the launcher was flagged as a Trojan horse on some antivirus software. On top of that, another content creator raised concerns about the launcher having access to your clipboard, meaning it could potentially see what you copy-paste. Now,
Bro, oh my god, that's even somehow worse than I thought. It can... It has access to what you copy and paste. They're gonna find my secret stash of of something. But yeah, that's that's kind of funny. No, in all seriousness, that's so stupid, and that's exactly why people don't trust private servers anymore. TurtleWow was the only private server I was willing to download on my PC because it has a proven track record of like good faith. That is the only reason. They were operating for 8 years before I actually downloaded the game, and I've heard about it many years ago. So yeah, that's the only reason. I think many people think just as I do. And that's why you will never see as many people playing private servers anymore. Definitely not after what Blizzard has done. People completely lost faith in private servers. They don't want their progress to be deleted in an instant. So they just rather cope and wait for an official Blizzard Classic Plus server.
Be straight with you, I personally trust that there's no malicious intent here, because this is the same kind of launcher issues that TurtleWoW itself had before they got around to fixing them. OctoWoW is running on an older version of the same launcher, so
his entire reasoning is trust me, dude, and I don't go off of that. But I mean, everyone can decide for himself, so if he decides to trust them, that's good on you. I'm not going to do that, Chief.
The same early bugs are there, and to their credit, they've gone open source.
Watch Asmongold reaction to solo server. What is that?
With the launcher, so the community can actually help fix it, and that's a great move. But of course, I'd still say be cautious. I don't know anything for sure. I just don't think there are any malicious intent from these developers, personally. And when it comes to the servers, OctoWoW has 2 servers, by the way. One hardcore and one normal. The normal server allows Alliance and Horde to group together, which is the same cross-faction setup that we have on TurtleWoW. And in terms of future plans, from what I know, OctoWoW wants to continue the legacy of TurtleWoW. The roadmap, the same direction. Whether or not there are any of the original TurtleWoW developers on the team, nobody knows. If there aren't, we might see them eventually diverge from what Capybara Paradise does, which could actually be really interesting down the line. 2 different visions of what TurtleWoW could have become, but we'll get into that. And now let's talk about Capybara Paradise, or Capybara WoW.
Is that?
Capybara is in a bit of a different situation from a lore perspective, because this server didn't come from the League core. It came from the original development team, specifically the Chinese development team that was running TurtleWoW's Asian servers. And for a bit of background context, TurtleWoW had...
Yeah, I've heard a lot of keywords that I don't trust, but it's kind of insane. Anyone calling themselves Capybara an instant red flag? Yeah.
Multiple servers. They got a European/American, then they had their South American, and then they had a Asian. And they had several Asian servers, actually. And when Blizzard came in with all the lawyers and suits, the people named in the lawsuit were primarily the European and American side. And of course, the lead developer, Torta/Shenna, and the team around her. But the Chinese developers, none of them were named, so they didn't got shut down in the same way. And at least one of those developers publicly refused to accept that TurtleWoW was over. So they took what they had, which was fully functioning, bug-free 1.18.1 version of the game, and kept going. And that's Capybara Paradise. And this means that Capybara is right now the most complete version of TurtleWoW that exists. Everything works, you log in, everything is there, no bugs, no missing features. So if you want to play TurtleWoW tonight, well then Capybara is currently your only real option. But,
yes,
and this is a big but, there are some serious...
The trade-off is that the entire Chinese government has a case on you. That most likely is the trade-off. But to be fair, if you played Valorant, that's already true. And I'm playing Where Winds Meet by the day, so yeah, I mean, I don't have anything to lose.
Pedals. First off, there's no launcher. The launcher on TurtleWoW was a huge deal. It updated your add-ons automatically.
What do you mean no launcher?
It let you find new ones. It included things like vanilla fixes, a mod that basically makes the old game engine run smoothly without stuttering or lagging constantly. And all of that was baked into the launcher. Without one, you're doing all that manually. You're downloading add-ons, patching things, making sure your client is set up properly. And it's a whole ordeal. And it's...
Remind me that time when I was a kid and I played Guns the Duel. That game unfortunately died, so I had to resort to private servers, which surely did not get me malwared 20 different times, but yeah, I'm not gonna go back to that. That is just, it's way too extensive, man. I don't want to go through the hoops again.
It's going to feel messy compared to what we used to. And secondly, and this is a big one for me personally, the server is predominantly Chinese. The majority of the player base is Chinese. Players' names, texts, all
so you
show
have
up
like 300
as
ping
Chinese characters by default. So you'd need to download an add-on just to translate that. And even then, it only works in certain contexts. I've seen people live stream it, and yes, gameplay-wise, it looks great. It runs smooth. Lots and lots of players.
Jesus
damn.
Christ, man. There's a lot of people here.
But for an English-speaking player, the immersion, it's just
yeah, it's not gonna be
in my
fun.
opinion. It's a language barrier problem on top of a cultural problem. And for me personally, that's kind of a deal breaker, at least for now. We'll see. Maybe I'll make a character in the future. But
yeah, obviously the whole point in World of Warcraft is like the community. And if you can communicate with anyone, then what's the point?
And then there's the elephant in the room. China, I'm not gonna pretend I know.
Was that a Chinese joke? No, you literally have 300 ping. Like, literally, you have 300 MS because this server isn't hosted anywhere near
the ins and out of Chinese business law, but from what I understand,
it just I'm not gonna play with massive lag.
China has to involve the government in its business dealings to some extent, and what that means for your personal data if you're installing software from this server is something you'll need to think about. Another content creator I know refuses to touch the Chinese client entirely because of his line of work. The government having potential access to whatever is on his machine is simply not a risk he's willing to take. But I'm not trying to scare anyone, I'm saying it just because...
Damn, what is he holding on his machine that is so confident? But, I mean, yeah, sure. Like, I do understand it. Many people are against it. I actually know a lot of people who refuse to play Valorant because of it. Or any Riot game, like, for that matter. Because you have to install the Riot Guard, which is very invasive. It's like an anti-cheat, but it's pretty much a spyware system baked in that you accept. So I completely understand why people are against it.
You should make an informed decision, of course. And then there's the legal angle, because Capybara is connected to the original development team.
Oh, you don't do it too?
They may actually have a bigger
fair enough.
legal target on their back than OctoWoW. They're known. Blizzard
I get
knows who they are to some extent, which you probably can't say for the 8 anonymous gatekeepers that OctoWoW have. One thing I want to mention though is that the OctoWoW developers actually told me that they're glad Capybara exists because of 2 reasons. One is it takes pressure off of them to deliver fast, since players have somewhere else to go in the meantime. And 2, it gives them a direct reference point. Whenever they're not sure of something or how something is supposed to work in the 1.18.1 patch, they can just log into Capybara and check. And that's actually really smart. And compared to OctoWoW, which runs 2 different servers, a hardcore and a normal server, Capybara just runs one single server, cross-faction, with both hardcore and casual players together. So that's pretty much it for OctoWoW and Capybara. And then there's Sandworlds, and I'll be straight with you. Sandworlds looks like the odd one out there. It's small, we're talking a few hundred players, maybe growing a bit now that there's more attention on the 12WoW scene, and it's been there for a long while, but it is very small. It seems also to be predominantly Brazilian or Portuguese speaking community, which is fine, but if you're English speaking, that's another layer of or another barrier. But
yeah, I mean, you can always find a private server hosted in a foreign country that would probably be good, but the language barrier is just too big to cross, and nobody's willing to do that. The beauty of TurtleWoW is that it was essentially like an official Blizzard server, but it was like good in any other way, just like a Blizzard server. Right? Like, it was all positive. There was nothing negative about it except the fact that it wasn't official. It was crazy. Downloading add-ons was easy. Like, logging into the game was easy. Updating was easy. Like, everything was in a push of a button. That's why people loved it. People aren't going to really install stuff manually, bother to learn a certain language just to communicate in a raid. It's not going to happen. It's not going to be fun for anyone. So that's why people will never play any of these private servers, unfortunately, as good as they may be.
More importantly, Sandworlds has made a bunch of custom changes to
Yeah,
the
I just
game
want to play the
that
game,
I personally
obviously.
don't agree with. As far as I
Apex
know,
was also
they've
good,
made
yeah.
a bunch of mobs much harder,
Unfortunately,
which
it was
I
super
think is
laggy.
unnecessary. I think Vanilla WoW is completely fine as it is. They've added a portal in each starter zone, so characters can, from different starting areas, can meet up early, which is kind of a cool idea in theory, but it just feels out of place in my opinion. And there's a bunch of other
World of
odd
Portal
little
craft.
changes that I can't even keep track of. You get a bunch of starter gear as well, and yeah, none of them really fit the spirit of what I think Third WoW was. And I also don't get the impression that Sandworlds has any real plans of expansion. I don't think they're working towards a 1.18.1. I don't think they have a big development team. I think they've built something for their community, and that's pretty much where it stays. And hey, respect to that, but it's not for me. And honestly, I doubt it's for most of you watching either. So that's the situation with the 3 servers. Here's the thing that I find genuinely beautiful about all of this. TurtleWoW's gone, officially. Blizzard shut it down, but TurtleWoW cannot die. It is literally impossible to kill it now. The core, it got out there, it's been copied, it's been backed up, it's been spread across the internet. There are 8 anonymous people who each have a copy, and they don't even know each other's names. So you'd had to find all of them simultaneously. And even then, there's probably copies that you don't even know about. And if you remember Nostalrius, Blizzard shut it down. Everybody said, that's it, game over. And then it came back as Elysium. And then Elysium split with Shenna and Kroge. And then it came back under White Kidney as a
Yeah, and then Blizzard actually came out with the product everyone were waiting for. So it's just you think you do but you don't moment for Blizzard all over again until they make Classic Plus, which surely will be announced this year. That's why they made BlizzCon a little bit earlier, right? It's on September, usually it's on November. They're going to announce Classic Plus 100%. Same, with the streamers they shipped into their HQ to test something we don't know about. I mean, they could have been group cube crawling or fridge raiding, but I think they done that and tested Classic Plus. I don't know, I might be wrong about that. But anyway, like, this is just, it's such a fruitless discussion. I really hate talking about private servers because now, after all that happened, nobody's going to trust them anymore. Not because they're bad, not because there's anything malicious about them, but simply because they don't want their progress to be reset. That's it. I think that's kind of the end of it. And it just sucks, man, because we had such a great private server scene, but Blizzard had to interfere. Of course, as they always do, for the sake of money and greed. It's absolutely insane. I'm the guy who hates Blizzard, but gives Blizzard 15 months for Classic, because I don't like any other MMO I've tried. Yeah, I know that feeling. Of course, many people are like that. I used to be like that. Right now, I don't enjoy Classic, so I stopped giving them my money, because I already played it, but I understand. Absolutely, there's nothing like WoW. Yeah, people love TurtleWoW because they didn't need to pay a sub. You already think Blizzard can allow itself to say, sure, we have no problem with a free clone server of our game being out there? It's not about that. It's about Blizzard not giving us an alternative, man. Because people wanted TurtleWoW as a concept for years. People wanted Classic Plus, and TurtleWoW was providing it. Now, the free aspect, it's great. It's fantastic. But I bet that if Blizzard released TurtleWoW with no changes whatsoever and add a sub fee as they should, people would play it. People would play it at an insane amount you've never seen before. Because most people can cough up a few bucks each month for a game that they love. It's not about the money for TurtleWoW, it's just the product that was so sublime people registered for. It's not really the money. It helps, but that wasn't the core idea.
It's hope. So you never truly kill these servers. They are like weeds in the best possible way. You pull one up, 3 more grows back. And this time around, I think the stakes are even higher. The project is more distributed, more protected, more underground. Blizzard didn't win, they just made it harder. And in doing so, they made it stronger. But alright, let's wrap this up with some practical stuff, because I know a lot of you want to know where to go. So, if you want to play right now, tonight, Capybara Paradise, that's your only real option. It's fully functional, 1.18.1, everything works. Just know what you're getting into with the language barrier and the setup process. And maybe...
Yeah. Okay, seems to be the end of the video. We have a lot on our plate today, but a great video. I'm gonna leave you guys a link in the description. I mean, It's so disheartening seeing all of that. Private server scene is really struggling, which, by the way, I saw what you wrote, guys. I'm not against Blizzard taking anyone down. I understand it's their IP. I'm not advocating for piracy. But I am playing a little bit of a devil's advocate here, because I do think that Blizzard needs to start picking up the mantle and actually create a good game. I actually think that World of Warcraft should be good again. That's why, every day when I upload stuff about World of Warcraft, I mention that Blizzard is a reprehensible company that should be admonished and rebuked at every single turn. But we just have to wait. We just have to wait. It is what it is. I'm not going to advocate for piracy. I understand why they did what they did, but Gabe Newell said it best. If you want to defeat the pirates, just offer the people a better product than they do.